Isn't it interesting to hear that from the guy standing at the neighboring urinal? I had so many possible answers running through my head. But in any case, I keep my cards ready. I don't want my opponents to find out about my plan, or, as it was at the moment, my lack thereof. Seriously, who talks to a guy when he's peeing? Is all etiquette out of this world? The answer is unequivocally no, which I demonstrated without even looking at him. Why not? Well, if I looked at his eyes, he could read mine, so no. The only other reason I might have looked in his direction as we both stood, making room for the next round, is not the way I prefer to evaluate my opponent. Time to play out my hand, shake it out, tighten it up, button it up, turn it around, and come out with a straight flush. I headed to the sinks to wash my hands and didn't notice him following me. I said I wanted to fuck your wife. That's good to hear. You don't believe me. Join the club. My wife is gorgeous. Everyone wants to sleep with my wife. Let's just say I think your chances are slim. I have lunch with her every Tuesday. Ah, yes, that's her Tuesday treat. You take her to her favorite restaurant. You know about that? I know, she told me you always pay the check. That's very generous of you, très galante. Of course it is. A man always pays. Well, I appreciate your manners and thank you for saving me money for her lunches and satisfying her hunger for Thai food. I'm not much of a fan of it, and since you take her there, I don't need it. Now, if you'll excuse me. I headed toward the bar. He followed me. This was starting to get annoying. I'm telling you, I softened her up. She really likes me. It shows. Yeah, by the way she twirls her hair when she talks to you, the way she holds your gaze when you look at her. He nodded, but looked a little surprised that I was describing her actions so clearly. Poor guy. He didn't know what he'd gotten himself into. Maybe she was leading you on. His armor cracked slightly. He didn't look all that confident. However, he came to his senses. You can talk all day if you want, but let me tell you how it's going to go down. When your wife arrives, she will join you at the table, and when she takes her first sip of wine, I'll be there. I will take her from you. She'll dance with me, and then she'll leave with me. Then I'll take her home and fuck her. That'll cost you dearly. I took a sip of my bourbon. I was really in no hurry. My wife was no exception, if not habitually prompt. She was early, if not on time. It was one of the things I loved about her and counted on. You see, my wife and I have a very close relationship. If one of us does something outstanding, the other does something of equal value. One of us cooks, the other cleans. One rakes leaves, the other picks up. One of us gets a foot massage, the other gets a back massage. And when one of us concedes something to the other makes up for it, but makes sure that everyone else involved in the concession pays as well. For example, last year my boss needed me to work a weekend in honor of our anniversary. We had planned a trip to Tahoe for 2 weeks. Instead of the planned week, I took it for 2 and also insisted that my boss foot the bill for the first-class upgrade. I made the holiday twice as enjoyable to make up for her disappointment, and my boss not only had an improved experience, but learned to better plan for what my efforts required. So for taking her away from me at our dinner, dancing with her and taking her home for sex, we'll start with you paying for my evening. Dinner, wine, cocktails, tip for both of us will be $250. I knew the bartender well, as this was my favorite establishment, and he was discreetly eavesdropping on us. I gestured to him, and he quickly went to pay the bill. My nemesis was a little concerned. This was not quite what he had expected. Next, you must reimburse me for the cost of the car service. I hired a town car so we can enjoy a different wine with each meal so neither of us will be driving. The bill is $150, so your share is $75. She'll pay me the rest later. You want me to give you another $75? I assure you, you don't stand a chance in hell if you don't respect our traditions and customs. He reluctantly ripped off 4 20s and placed them on the counter. You owe me 5. I don't make change. Tell her she owes you another handful if it gets that far. If it comes to that? What the hell? I just gave you $300, so she better fuck me now. What an ass. But the hook was cast. I could have hooked him. Oh, no, you didn't. You just implied that my wife is a prostitute. You didn't pay to have sex with her. You were just compensating me for what your interrupted evening would cost me. If you were paying for her invaluable company, you'd have to take out a large loan. You'd need real estate, perhaps a golden boiling lion. You have not yet begun to achieve your goal. Oh, and your math sucks. You gave me 325. Now, about the dancing. She will no doubt dance with me tomorrow night to replace what I missed. However, you must give me the same consideration. Let us dance. I don't dance with guys. Then we'll dance in the old Western style. Let's go outside. What, are you going to shoot me? Are we going to duel? Isn't that at noon? No guns, just fists. Mano a mano. You'll be dancing with her for quite a while, but let's limit it to a 5-minute round. Bare fists or gloves? You're serious. Like a crutch. But I promise I won't hit below the belt, so you'll be perfectly fine by the last phase of the evening. A good fight really excites my wife, so she'll pamper the hell out of your face and all the bruises on your body. If she doesn't, she won't enjoy it, so you'll be sore but good. Okay, let's get this over with. We only have half an hour. I thought you said 5 minutes. Well, you know, we're not outside yet, and we'll have to leave time for betting. Bets? Yes. The regulars here are used to settling disagreements that way, so they gather to watch, and some betting is part of the deal. It also ensures that both sides agree to the fight and that the fight is stopped before permanent damage is done. It's very civilized, Marquis of Queensberry rules and all that. But half an hour? Well, maybe more, but I'll try to be quick. Quick with what? Well, you'll also be taking my wife for sex. You'll have to try really hard to make sure she gets as much as I give her. It won't be easy because I usually dance until someone stops me. Be warned. Block my right hook or it will destroy the left side of your jaw. But then the dance phase will be over, and then you'll owe me for that fuck. I won't give you a dime. That's right. You won't give me a dime. But you'll owe me for the sex, and since you don't have anything like the whore you're going to take from me, you'll have to give your ass. I'm a little older, so once a night will be enough for me. If you use it more often, I'll have to come on you every night this week until we break up. You're an arrogant prick. You think I'm going to let you beat me half to death, and you're going to bitch at me before I take your wife away from you, and then you're going to keep having me every night this week? Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Hello, darling, my beautiful wife said, lowering herself onto the stool on the other side of me. I see you've met my lunch buddy. Have you explained how we do it yet? Yes, he's already reimbursed my expenses. And the car, too? And the car, too. I didn't give him change, so you owe him another hump. I'll give him 2 if you give me 10 later. Deal. Did he say we were dancing? He did. We were just about to go outside. Can I watch? Who are you? He looked directly at my wife as he interrupted our conversation. I sipped my bourbon and let my wife take over to settle the conflict. Did you really know about this craziness when you shared lunches with me? Yes, we make sure each other is always treated with equal consideration. We used to get to the point where we'd tell each other how much we spent on gifts so it would be equal. But then we decided that a loving thought is worth a loving thought in return. And that's more important than dollar value. And you know about the fight. We only do it for lost dances during seduction attempts. I don't worry about the fight. I can handle myself. But what about sex? Your husband is gay. Actually, my husband has had bisexual tendencies for years, but I can assure you that since we've been together, he's been completely monogamous, so it hasn't come to gay yet. But he said... Yes, he did, but it never came to that. We never got past the dancing stage, and watch his right hook. He hits lower than you'd expect. He's very fast and hard to spot. At this point, the bartender entered the conversation. That's brutal. I've only seen him 4 or 5 times, but it was an instant knockout for all but one. Your jaw will hurt, but he doesn't seem to be mad enough at you to break it. Does he always win? Every time I've seen him. Most guys don't make it that far. You'll see if he takes his shirt off. Ooh, that's my favorite part, my wife cooed. Baby, you look so sexy. The guy didn't give up. Come on, man. Let's dance. You really want to do this, even knowing what happens next if you succeed? I told you, I'm going to fuck your wife. You approached me at the urinals in the restaurant restroom with the wild declaration that you were going to somehow sleep with my wife. While you were there, did you break etiquette enough to look at my organ?" He blushed deeply. He didn't notice, but other regulars gathered around to see where the latest attempt on my gorgeous wife would lead. They giggled as they looked at his blushing response to my question. "If you looked, what makes you think my wife needs more?" "I'm younger," which is synonymous with inexperience. "I have lots of experience. Whore!" That's when my wife interjected into the conversation. "The only experience that matters is the experience that taught my lover how to love me. I have very specific buttons to push, and you have no idea what they might be." "Tell me. I'll do anything. I know you'll never forget a night with me." "The fact that I have to teach you isn't exactly advantageous, and a night I'll never forget can be bad or good." It was time to call it a night. The posing was idiotic, but what can you expect from anything that starts with a urinal? "Okay, let's go then." I sipped my bourbon and headed for the door behind the bar. The regulars followed me and gathered in a circle right in front of the door. He slipped out the door to join us. "Let's get this straight. You have caused me incredible inconvenience today, and while I'm grateful for the compensation, I'm concerned that the message didn't reach your brain. So while we're here, if you take a step back toward the door, you can leave untouched. If you step toward me, I will hit you once. It will be a right hook. As you have heard, it will be delivered at a low angle. You will fall hard, and it may break your jaw. When your head clears, if you still want to fuck my wife, we'll both fall down and I'll do it to you, and then we'll go home. The rest is between you and her. Understood?" He nodded in understanding. Then he threw himself on top of me. Then he rolled over onto his back and into the arms of the regulars, who began cheering the guy who had bet on 3 lucky moves in his haste to get close enough for me to hit him. The bet was on the first step, but you have to give the guy credit. He was fast. He never passed out, but he was pretty stunned for a while. When he had recovered enough, the regulars helped him into a chair. "How's your jaw?" "It hurts, but I don't think you broke it." "No, neither did I. I pulled a punch, so who am I gonna fuck tonight, you or my wife?" "Oh no, man, I'm done." "Okay, you owe me another 200. "What the fuck? For what?" $100 for hurting my arm. Jaws aren't soft, you know. "You didn't have to punch me in the jaw." "But I promised you, so yes, I did. And you owe me restitution." "Then you owe me for damaging my jaw." "No, that was your choice." "Then what's another 100 for?" "You don't want to sleep with my wife. If you wanted to, I'd have sex, and she doesn't. I really don't mind because she's amazing in bed. But still, you cost me the experience. Or you could let me hit you again for $100. I want to see what my left can do to a man's ribs, so a punch on each side would be a good deal for me." "No, that's enough for me, thank you. But I'm a little short on money." I gave him my Venmo. An ice pack and a portion of whiskey materialized from somewhere, courtesy of the pool winner. He got to his feet and someone hailed him a cab. "Look, if I don't stay for dinner, can I have that money back?" Laughter was his answer. I joined my wife at our table. "Well, my love, dinner tonight is on your lunch buddy." "To my lunch buddy and your punch buddy!" "So you think you'll continue to dine with him?" "No, dear. I'm afraid I've lost my Tuesday lunch companion. You owe me now, you know. You can meet me at Bangkok Gardens on Tuesday at noon." Holy shit, Thai food.